and the state engineer said that was going to stop the water because subwater doesn't travel laterally. I love engineers. Anyway, I like to talk. I hope you like to listen. So this morning I gotta fix some sprocket segments here. I've got a missing bolt there, loose one there, nut gone off that one. I've got one down on the bottom. I'm gonna have to move the cat. There's only one bolt left in it. Those rocks are murder. Oh, and look at that. I got water in the final drive for my no film project. I wonder how that happened. I guess when you get water clear up over here, somehow it gets in. So I got to get all this frozen sand and rock off of here. Take this guard off, then get out Big Bertha. See if I can fix this. So you remember this swivel? I had a guy give it to me. Wish I had the link to it, but this has been the most awesome swivel ever. Best investment you'll ever make. So, can't remember your name, so if you see this in the video, put a link to where they can buy this, who you are. I appreciate you sending me this. This was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to start the cat up and move it. About to come off. That one's got only one bolt left holding it. Those rocks are murder. Water and rocks are murder. That was junk. tires froze up. I already put the wrench in the truck, warmed it up, and I put some lube oil in the hose, and it tightened them up, but I gotta get that one off. Dicked up. That one ain't. Why is it going that way but not that way? Okay, I got that one together. Jake stopped by. If he hadn't have been here, I'd have never got that one tightened. He had to hold it with the ratchet. So I'm out of here and I'll come back and do what I need to do and then move on to the next one. All right, so I had to go take a service truck and pump up a tire on the haul truck for Matt. He's hauling rocks today. I got all my bolts in and tightened up. So Killdozer's getting ready to blow a head off. See that black coming out from under there? So way back when I had this block completely disassembled and I took it to the machine shop to sleeve the counterbores, when I went and picked it up, the guy said, well, I sleeved 3 of them and the other ones I just recut the counterbore, and then when I decked it they were within spec. Well, I gotta call bullshit on that one, and I didn't check it because I didn't put the motor together. You know the story behind that. And I think 3 front holes are probably the ones he didn't put the L sleeve in, because it always would pressurize the radiator just a little, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, now I know what's going on. If your liner height isn't up there where it needs to be, your liner protrusion, that right there is what happens. So I need to get my D9H fixed and going. This old girl needs a lot of love. Needs an undercarriage. I got the tracks. Got a price on rollers. They're in Reno. Just need to fork over the money and get them coming. But if I'm gonna put an undercarriage, I think that motor's coming back out. Now you could do, they could come and counterbore for sleeves those front 3 holes. The oil pan splits, and you could get the front half off and be able to work on it. There's plates on the side, you could take those off and get in there and do it too, but I just don't like that. And you remember all the problems I had with water pumps and all the bearing material that went in the pan, and it was all because the cooler bypass spring got mixed up with the filter bypass spring, and it wasn't cooling the oil, and that's what kept burning up that bearing. And then after we changed that, end of problem. But it doesn't have as good oil pressure as it should, so I imagine after what, 4 or 5 of those Babbitt style bearings on the water pump that went through the whole system, I'm sure it's probably wiped out every bearing in it. So it just need to come out and go through it again. It's got 10,000 hours on it. It should have went about 15 or 20. Should have went as long as I ever lived. But that's what you get for not putting it together yourself, Jeff. Jeff did not win on that one. So what are you doing, Jeff? So I had to push up this dirt pile. Basically what that dirt is the dirt and stuff that comes off of washing potatoes. And then right now I'm over here, show you it. I got a pit. They got a pit over there and they dump that in, and it's just absolute mud, but they've let it sit long enough I can push it. It's pretty wet, but I just push it out here, and then that dirt has to sit about a year. It's so hot with fertilizer and stuff, it doesn't really grow things good until it's sat for a year, and some of the nitrogen and that burns off. But makes hellacious garden soil, lawn stuff. I'll tell you what, things grow good in it. So that's what I'm doing today. So let's see if we can get the old rattler going here. Oh, poor D9. She's in bad shape. I got to get the D9H going. This thing's things are on her last legs. A bunch of dead glow plugs in her. Well, they're not dead. I think it's just bad connection, because when you turn it back to heat and the knock and vibration from the engine, it sits and makes contact. If you hold it and hold it, it'll start to fire. So this is the last that I gotta get out, and they dumped a bunch more soup on top of it, so you can see it's pretty wet. It's pretty thick here because it just flows out. I got all the other side out pretty easy, and over there where it's dry, there really wasn't much there. My biggest problem is going to be that part back there, and that's straight goop. Not sure I'm going to be able to get it out with the cat. But it's my birthday today, and I'm out here working. There's something wrong with me, isn't there? I told you I'd win. So what I did is I got in there and I cut clear into that white dirt, the dry dirt in the bank, and then I just pushed it up as far as I could and left it. And it came back here and got some dry stuff and built a ramp to that, then pushed the crap the rest of the way out, then dug any more soft stuff that I had out in the very bottom. So now I can hook this. It pushes really super easy. You can get a huge blade full, but you gotta have traction to get out. Now, the other problem I'm having is now that I'm getting up there, I'm sinking. And that's all the farther I could push that. So now I'm having to turn and go out that way. So I don't have a lot left. It's going pretty dang quick. But I told you Jeff would win. I told you I'd win. I always do. Well, sometimes I lose, but I always make it a win, one way or the other. So, I think I'm gonna go eat a hamburger today. Something I shouldn't do. But it's my birthday, so hell with it. stinky mess out. They're knocking here. I'm gonna have to move the tractor, see if I can get all that crap out of the on top of the final drive and between the sprocket. It's packed in the ripper pin pockets. Yikes, I don't think this side's as bad up in there. It's always that other side that gets you, because that's the side you're operating on. So I got in the pond this morning and finished cleaning out what I could. So all this is buildup of that, and then I had to go down farther where they dump like straight potatoes that are junk and level out that. Holy moly. Good thing I left this on here. This would be covered with runny rotten potatoes. It'd be awful. So I left it on there for protection. Potato condom. It's still not coming out of the finals though. clean as it's gonna get. Let's go up here and look at the pond. So this is where they back up and let her rip. But I couldn't get that little teeny corner out of there. You get down to the bottom, it's dry, and you can see the gravel, stray rocks. It's kind of high over there. It never gets any of that water clear over there. It all concentrates in here. Anyway, this part down here, the only way I'm going to get it out is bring the excavator and then have them bring their dump trucks up here, and we'll have to load it in the trucks because it's clear full and trying to run over the bank here, but it's so narrow. But I had to be that way because of the pivot. Anyway, I don't remember. We built this maybe a year after we had the 336, I think. I have to go back and look. So it's lasted them a long time. And then after the 97 flood, we went out here and picked up this gravel bar. And of course, the guy from the Corps wouldn't let us take it all. So look, it's back with a vengeance. Anyway, the ramp that we were using to go in and out of here is still here somewhere. Can't remember where. I'll find it. No, we took the gravel and piled it in this hole. We moved about 70,000 cubic yards, hauled it clear up there and here. Oh, here it is. There's the ramp. It wasn't that steep. He made us take most of it out, what we could get, but... And then on this end, it had some trees and stuff. I'm like, yeah, if you don't take that out, it's just gonna come back, and you can see that's what it did. Because the trees and the willows trap the silt, trap the gravel, and then it just builds and builds and builds. Oh, so we didn't take any of that, and now it's a plug. It's probably really just a waste of money. It was just window dressing to make the taxpayers and the locals feel good that they're going to take gravel out and stop that flooding. Ha! So they got a huge one over there covered in trees. They needed to take it out, put it over between the interstate and the riverbank, because the state went in there and dug a giant hole to build up the riverbank. Because back in the early 60s when they built the interstate, they moved the river. It didn't used to come through here. It went over there. And they moved it, so it's a straight shot through here, and it's rip-wrapped on both sides now. So it's never gonna be snake again. It can't move. So all it can do is deposit gravel. Anyway, this giant island here, some expert came in and said it'd take $7 million to get that out of there. I said I'd do it for $1 million. There's probably 150 in there, 150,000, something like that. But they won't let you go down below the water. I don't understand that, but they think the fish are dumb and that they're going to get trapped in there. It's like, no, they won't. Trout are too smart. Suckers might, trout won't. I've never seen trout get trapped from something like that. But anyway, they won't let them go in there now because it's covered in trees. Might have a bird nest in there. Worst case, it'd have an eagle's nest, and then you'd never do anything. But you can see how it narrows it up in here. I don't know, eventually maybe it'll eat it off and deposit it down here. The one we cleaned out here is back because he left all the willows and crap on the one end, and so it was just a giant gravel trap. It's all back. It's been cutting the end of this island off. You can see it heads over that way. It's made a new island. It's just gonna move it, and that's what the river does. It just continually moves all that gravel. So the state would get water on the interstate over there, and it was funny because really during real high water, when Jensen's Grove Lake over here, which is the gravel pit that they borrowed from to build the interstate and all the overpass approaches and stuff, and now it's a lake, and the subwater would start coming up between the lanes. So what they did is they had God, I can't remember their name. They're over in the Tri-Cities or somewhere over in Washington. What border of Washington, Idaho? I can't remember. I can't. Anyway, they come in with 631s, and they actually let them go up here in the river and cut all this a bunch of gravel out, and they put it along the edge of the freeway, and they build it up, and then they put 3/4 on it. And the state engineer said that was going to stop the water because subwater doesn't travel laterally. Or excuse me, doesn't travel horizontally. What a moron. Yes, it does travel horizontally. So they got a screen door over there. We've never ever had another flood like 97, but I guarantee if we got another one, there'd be water between the freeway and it'd be coming up. Subwater would be coming up, flooding the freeway. They had to close it off for a while. I love engineers. Most of them just don't have any common sense. They don't have any real world experience. So there was a huge gravel bar in here, and we took it all out. But up here on this end, it wouldn't let us take the willows. At the time it was just willows. Now it's just plumb full of cottonwoods. All this in here didn't have these trees in it. Anyway, it's just a jungle in there now. It would take a flood of epic proportions to take all that out. I mean, epic. Anyway, the county was going to come in and get all that gravel and use it, and they were in here for about a week and left. Problem with river gravel is a lot of times it's full of crap. We found a engine block, tires, rims, lots of tree limbs, stumps, stuff like that. So you kind of have to work your way through it, pick the junk out. They didn't want to do that. So this was all willows in here, and there's a few left on the back end here, but if they'd have taken all that out, none of that would be there. They wouldn't have a plug in it. Anyway, when they built the overpass here, they should have raised it up about 2 more feet, because the underpass there, the clearance is like 15.4 is all, and the bridge is too low. So when it floods, the water gets clear up against the beams, and then they have to close the bridge again with the engineers. They're smart people. You know, if you overbuild stuff, you don't have a problem. Anyway, I like to talk. I hope you like to listen. Anyway, that over there, they got them a new Pony Express car wash. They got a C-store here. Back in, I don't know what it was, 2000, 2001, I don't know. We hauled 60,000 cubic yards of gravel in there, built all that up. It's, we built the gravel up so they were the same level as the highway. And then they raised the building up. That way, if they ever had a flood, they wouldn't get wet. Anyway, they still got a bunch of it left down on this end, but I think because of the way they broke it up and they allowed that gas station in there, that kind of ruined it. Nobody wants to buy this down here and build on it.